It is the 31st of July 2021, the last day of the month of July. Well, welcome to UBC Lunchtime News. My name is Sharon. Kyomugisha, very good afternoon. And in our top stories of the day today also happens to be the first day that President Museveni partially lifted the national lockdown following a reduction in COVID-19 positivity rate. Public transport, shopping malls and border transport is some of the sectors that have been offered another lease of life in as long as they adhere to COVID-19 SOPs. The president says government has ordered for vaccines to vaccinate all Ugandans as one of the measures against coronavirus infection. This was contained in a nationally televised address Saturday evening. Details follow.
And traders should open outlets in the various towns and business centers in the outskirts of the central business district. Adapt to e-commerce. Malls, arcades and other business centers have been closed and must strictly follow these guidelines. Lighting and ventilation, dedicated entry and exit, install CCTV cameras where if they are not already there, proper hygiene and sanitation facilities, registration of shop owners and attendants is a must. Only those arcades that conform to the above guidelines would be allowed to open. In addition, failure to conform to any of the above will lead to closure. On the issue of barriers, this should not, people go for barriers should not exceed 20. This should be maintained. This was the previous guideline. Maintain it until the population is sufficiently vaccinated. On the issue of weddings, which were regulated to 20 people, that should be maintained until the population is sufficiently vaccinated. So continue with small weddings. Places of worship. This should remain closed and will be reviewed after another 60 days. Alternative means of worship, i.e. online radio and TVs, are instead encouraged. A maximum of 10 leaders are allowed to lead the virtual prayers. The Minister of Health will have to explain.
Well, we're sorry about that, but that was actually televised yesterday on Friday, 30th of July 2021. In more stories, Rubaga Cathedral has held prayers for Kabaka Ronald Muwenda Mutebi as he marks his 28th coronation anniversary at Mkwoni Palace in Lwengo District, Bodu County. Bishop Paulo Semogede, the Apostolic Administrator, Archdiocese of Kampala, led the early morning prayers that attracted a handful of selected persons in observance of the COVID-19 standard operating procedures. These include selected members of the clergy, invited guests, and some politicians.
Kabaka of Uganda, Edward Mwenda Mutebi, upon the completion of his 28th year as the King of Uganda. We'd like to thank God for the gift of the Kabaka, for his good life that he has had, for the inspirations that he has given to Buganda in particular, but also in Uganda as general. I'd like to thank him for his gentleness and the calmness and the way that he has been able to handle issues, some of them very sensitive issues in our area, but the Kabaka has been so calm in guiding us and making sure that we have got good relationships between the central government and the Kingdom of Uganda.
In more news, jubilation and excitement reverberated across LIRA as schools celebrated the hand-and results. Now, most schools were talked to in LIRA said that, however, they were gravely affected by COVID-19. They still registered an improvement in the results compared to last year. However, some attributed it to the virtual teachings the schools initiated. Details follow.
After the release of UCE results by First Lady, also Minister of Education and Sports, schools went into celebration for their hard-earned outcomes. At Bright Light College, there were 49 students in Division 1 with their best scoring aggregate 10.
So had the time been normal like other years, yes, because our expectation was 60.
While at Mentor Secondary School,
at least even if I've not got 8 for 8, at least I've got first grade.
I'm grateful and happy that at least in the Lao sub-region, I think we are the best because no school around has got the number of first grades that we have got, and we are proud of it, and I'm proud.
For the first time, it is something very clear that the whole of Lao sub-region, since UNEP started the grading of 8 in 8, we have never scored aggregate 8 in 8. This is the first time of its kind that we are having that, and I have that at St. Gracias, and I'm extremely very excited.
Although most schools we visited noted an improvement this year, they also decried COVID-19 effects.
Teachers and the ICT department, we came up with an audio online lessons, which would allow us, even students with analog phones, to attend.
They also called upon parents to put more efforts on girl-child.
But the critical thing is at a family level. Parents should keep close to their children, encourage the children, talk to the children. The children are traumatized by this, so they need counseling, they need talking, they need moral support from parents.
While at St. Gracia's Secondary School, we found students seeking for admission immediately after the release of results. Ediolwa, UBC News.
Well, congratulations to all those that sat for their UCE results and passed highly. Now, Kampala City is set for border free zones. Though initiative is still requesting for application of the free zones is expected to be effected as soon as the applications are finalized. Details on this story.
About modalities of registering border borders in preparation for border free zones. This is intended to reorganize the industry and gazette stages they should operate at outside the central business district. There are approximately 585 stages mapped out as operational stages for border borders.
Government was to come up with a platform, an e-platform, that would enable us do the registrations online, as well as allow for all mobile registrations within the city. Now, this application is still under development, and we believe we shall go on with the registration and enforce the border-free zone.
There are signposts marked No entry for BODABODA along areas where BODABODAs shall not be allowed to operate. Such kind of signpost is erected along Jinja Road.
It is these signages that you see that are still there. Some were vandalized and some are still in existence.
Kampala Capital City Authority spokesperson argues that the installation of these signposts was well placed by authorities after several engagements with stakeholders.
And that extent was determined by the traffic, was determined by a number of road engineering and traffic reports, as well as studies that were conducted by KCC.
At the points where BODABODAs will stop is where travelers shall have to use vehicles to access the central business district.
Others can use bicycles. You can ride your bicycle into. And the best thing to do is also to walk and breathe Kampala, see Kampala, feel Kampala.
With the aim of reducing congestion, improve air quality and reduce accidents in the metropolitan area. This is the same period where COVID-19 ravaged the country, prompting an extension to effect the process. On the other hand, security has been beefed up on the last day of the 42 days lockdown. Pedestrians were not allowed to access the city center. Only those who had credentials would be allowed to proceed to their destinations. Ivan Kahwa, UBC News in Kampala.
Over 6,000 Ugandans have been treated from COVID-19 and have recovered, though a few are suffering from a few mild respiratory symptoms of COVID-19. However, she has been in and out of the hospital battling health-threatening conditions since her recovery.
Irene Nakasita, a mother, wife and the spokesperson of Uganda Red Cross Society, came down with COVID-19 symptoms and, like many coronavirus patients, she spent weeks at the ICU. However, Nakasita's life hasn't returned to normal. Since then, she has been on and off with after effects of COVID-19.
I go to hospital and I requested them to do a PCR test. I ran the test, but I told the doctor, please enroll me on medication because I feel I have all the signs of COVID. Yeah, so in as much as I'd done the test, of course results were coming back the following day. So yeah, he put me on began it right away. So the following day, they sent my results on my phone and they were positive.
Nakasita spent 3 weeks in the referral hospital in Jinja after Mulago National Hospital and Entebbe Hospital had no beds for admission.
It had dawned on me that the situation wasn't really for jokes, honestly. Because after finding out that this facility is full and this one is full, now the alternative is this one, I actually cried. I cried because then I knew this is now a matter of life and death. I remember when I reached Jinja, at the ICU where they took me, I think they had just admitted somebody at the extreme end. There was a room at the extreme end and that person was coughing. Actually, that person died the following morning. Was coughing. So, and I called home and I said, I've arrived, but I broke down again. I cried again. I was like, yeah, I want to see that. They're like, Guma, because there's nothing to do.
She recalls her first days at Jinja Referral Hospital and there was no doctor to attend to her. She was suffering from respiratory problems and also needed the services of a cardiologist. Her iodine levels were very low, but she was instructed to drink salt.
But I think within the process there, I remember, I think my iodine levels also went low. And you know these big flasks that cover, that cover, the guy told me to drink salt. They told me, we are going to give you salt to drink. So I was like, salt? I'm already coughing. Yes, they get salt, put in water, and they tell you to drink. So I was like, God, I'm already coughing now. And the guy told me, you're not going to drink one. We shall add you another one.
Nakasita narrates that she will never forget the 8th of June 2021 in her life, the day she said her last prayer.
But what really, my worst day is that day my heart pulse went low. And I actually said my last prayer to the Lord because I saw myself going. It was on the 8th of June. I had been shifted now from the ICU to the private room at the ward. And I remember, I don't know whether they were illusions, I don't know, I would see my face swelling and coming back, swelling and coming back. So I began touching myself. Yeah, and I would feel a very, very thin layer of my skin. So I was like, I just said, no, this must be death coming. So I need to say my last prayer to the Lord. And I told God, receive my soul.
While she struggled to retain life, Nakasita says that God gave her a second chance. After regaining her conscious back, she feared sleeping again. At the back side of her mind, she thought she could die in sleep.
Now after that, of course, I feared to sleep again. I thought when I sleep, I'm going to die after what I'd experienced. So I stayed awake. I actually got a pillow put on my back and I sat like this. Now, of course, now the drips, I would get them when I'm awake like this. So until the following morning.
After 10 days on treatment at Jinja Referral Hospital, she asked to be referred back to Kampala for proper management of COVID-19 and also carry out other tests. Nakasita says that she was discharged and given a bill which she declined clearing, citing some charges were not genuine.
But on the bill, I contested. I said, no, I will not pay for doctors because I saw the bill had doctors' fees. I said, no. I've been attended to by nurses. I will not pay for doctors' services.
Now back in a private hospital to deal with side effects of COVID-19 drugs administered to her at the pub, she had to redo other tests since her chest never cleared fully and had to start a new medication afresh. While she talks of having oversaw developed diabetes.
Being in and out of hospitals now for the eyes because the sight is blurry. It's blurry but the doctor has said once the sugar levels stabilize in the body, the sight will also come back by its own. I can't read anything, I can't write because then I'll write zigzag because I am not seeing the lines.
The circle of being in and out of hospital can be blamed on anyone, but she gives glory back to God. Zahara Abigaba, UBC.
Well, thank you so much, Zahara Abigaba. And for Nakasita, we only wish you good and quick recovery for everything. It's heritage with customs and that all the cattle of the neighboring tribes is theirs. Enjoy.
The Karamojong are nomadic agropastoralists consisting of numerous tribes and clans with a rich cultural heritage. They are known for their love of livestock, mainly cattle, sheep, goats, camels, and donkeys. They have unique traditional wear that include colorful beads, iconic blankets, and have unique traditional dances. The Karamojong are grouped by clans and by territorial subgroups, which are the Bakora, the Pian, and the Matheniko, subdivided into the Jie, Tepeth, Kadam, Ik, Dodoth, Pokot, Labgol, Mening, and Nyangai.
We have got several clans in Karamoja. The Upe, the Pian, the Bakora, the Matheniko, the Dodoth, and Karanga. It depends.
There are about 1.2 million Karamojong living in the districts of Kabong, Kalenga, Abim, Kotido, Moroto, Amudat, Napak, and Nakapiripirit, bordering South Sudan and Kenya. Due to decades of isolation and their strong beliefs, the Karamojong have been able to maintain their ancestral cultural heritage with the cultural customs dating back. And the people got a negative image as cattle rustlers.
Put ourselves in groups, such that if a larger number of enemies come, we have got to help ourselves in a larger number. And then we put our cows there purposely, because it is better to be in a group, communal defense. We have a communal defense against the external attack.
During the 1970s, there was an increase in violence in the region, mostly due to an increase in the supply of weaponry, especially guns. Government has, however, disarmed the Karamojong in a bid to restore civil stability. The Karamojong value routinely, men go out to find pasture and water for their livestock, while the women stay back in the manyatas to take care of the homestead and the children, and both tend gardens to supplement their diet. In Karamoja, things are done together and for the good of the entire community, not just a nuclear family or an individual. Men can take as many wives as they want as long as they have the ability to pay dowry, which is taken seriously in the area.
But a minimum, at the most, according to them, it must be at the most 50. So,
like now, if you see the beautiful girl, you just go to the home of their parents. You say, I want that girl. You just talk there and talk there. They can tell you they have 60 cows, they have 40 cows in order to give you a girl.
So long as somebody is disciplined and active, but not a thief. And also as here, when somebody is coming for your daughter, you make sure it's what type of family is that person coming from.
Their communities, for things are done according to democratic lines.
That boy, if that person who has caused a problem say that, oh, I've done this, yes, they tell him that, okay, before we do this to you, animal will be slaughtered. There is a part of the animal. They get that one, then they get a sphere. They said, okay, my friend, as you have done this, as you have now recognized now, you cannot do again.
We sit, almost all the clans within the area sit there and you decide what's happened, what was supposed to be done.
Families are in enclosures with manyatas uniquely only to be found in Karamoja, and everything from the structure of the homesteads to the people and the language all give a sense of community belonging. However, a visit to the manyatas is not complete without music and dance. The Karamojong live in complete harmony with nature, and they are usually half-dressed and are decorated with the tribal markings. The weather and nature in Karamoja is harsh, but the people are able to dwell there and amicably live with it.
And if God said, that's it that I gave you, I say thank you, God.
Government is, however, putting a lot of effort in improving the area's infrastructure. Electricity has been extended to the region. There are tarmac roads, and schools are being built in great numbers across all districts in the region. Manadeo, reporting for UBC News.
We've cut and reduced our MTN Momo withdrawal rates. Now you can withdraw mobile money at the lowest rates. You also get MTN Central Points when you deposit, send, and withdraw MTN mobile money. Visit our Momo agents countrywide and withdraw mobile money at our reduced rates from 1st May 2021. Everywhere you go. MTN.
Wait, Abu. Tunamaliliza. And what are you doing throwing papers all over the place?
I'm looking for an invoice for a sound system and cables that I received yesterday, but I can't find it.
You know there is a way of keeping all this in one place and available to you as and when you need it.
I really wish there was one, because the way these invoices grow legs and disappear.
I believe this is what you're looking for.
Now how did it get there?
Tabo! Do you know that with EFRIS, you can stay on track of all your business transactions and improve on your record keeping?
How so?
Katituliku computer with EFRIS. I just search using the fiscal document number and I retrieve the records I'm looking for. Bookkeeping becomes simple after that.
Kapo, awesome, yeah.
I began using URS Kakasa Solutions and now I'm in charge of my business. And you can as well.
Kakasa, be sure you are in charge of your business.
Uganda Revenue Authority. Developing Uganda together.
Airtel Uganda has the best and most affordable rates when it comes to withdrawing and sending money. Withdraw money for as low as 330 shillings up to a maximum of 12,500 shillings. Sending money is just as affordable as ever. Absolutely unbeatable. Use Airtel Money on the most affordable network with the largest network of Airtel Money branches in Uganda. Dial *185# to get started. Airtel Money. Simple, secure, borderless.
You're still watching UBC Lunchtime News. In our business stories, the Civil Division of the High Court has set dates to deliver rulings in the omnibus cases filed by lawyer MABIRIZI and an application filed by the Legal Brains Trust lawyers. Among the cases which await the ruling include the case challenging the Cabinet's decision of installing surveillance devices in people's vehicles, the appointment of the permanent secretaries by the President.
Earlier this week, lawyer MABIRIZI filed an omnibus application in High Court Civil Division challenging Cabinet's decision to install tracking devices in people's cars. The same case which was filed by lawyers from Legal Brains Trust challenging the same decision. Legal Brains Trust in filing this case asked court to issue a permanent injunction prohibiting any government official from implementing and acting on the strength of the Cabinet's decision until the determination of the main suit. Before Judge Boniface Wamala, court has set 16th August 2021 for the Attorney General and the Parliamentary Commission to file their affidavits in reply to MABIRIZI's application. And on 10th August, the applicant MABIRIZI will file his rejoinder.
So we need to know what will be going on in the surveillance. That must be under an act of parliament, not mere press statements or radio talk shows. We need a reference where we shall be reading that this is it.
MABIRIZI also filed another application challenging the appointment of permanent secretaries by the President and the President's directive seconding UPDF to take over all government procurement and construction of schools, roads and hospitals. The case, which will be heard using written submissions by all parties, court has also set 16th August 2021 for MABIRIZI to file rejoinders, after which court will pronounce itself on this matter on 30th September 2021.
We have disagreed with the judge because for me I wanted after written submission that we appear before him at least for 30 minutes so that we can highlight, as we have been doing in other places like in Bali, Supreme Court. You're right, but then you appear and people can see that actually the case was argued. But the judge is claiming that because of COVID he cannot. I was telling him you can apply the SOPs because you are saying justice must not only be done but must be seen to be done.
The Attorney General was represented by Martin Mwamtsa, Director Civil Litigations, and the Parliamentary Commission was represented by Solomon Chirunda. Judge Boniface Wamala has also set September 2021 to deliver ruling in the permanent injunction application filed by Legal Brains Trust lawyers. In another development, the prominent weightlifter Julius Sechitoleko's legal team has withdrawn an application. They filed in High Court seeking for his unconditional release.
Given that it has been overtaken by events, but as you are all aware, he still has charges of conspiracy to defraud, which we shall as a team also follow up and see that we have a defense for him.
Julius Sechitoleko, who was arrested on arrival at Entebbe Airport from Japan on 23rd July 2021, was released on bond by the Criminal Investigations Department on Wednesday. Deborah Namamonde, Nantong Rebecca, UBC News.
Well, thank you so much for tuning in to watch the UBC Lunchtime News with me, Sharon. Kyomugisha. Have a lovely afternoon and the rest of the day.
Experience 100% 4G speeds across Uganda with the Airtel 4G Pocket Wi-Fi available at 123,000 shillings only. It comes with a backup battery and 15 GB free for 1 month. Visit the nearest Airtel shop, device selling shop or Airtel online shop. www.airtel.co.ug/broadband-discover. Airtel, the smartphone network.
Wait, Abu. And what are you doing throwing papers all over the place?
I'm looking for an invoice for a sound system and cables that